Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sharise Johnson Moore's podcast, where today we are talking on this segment of Let's Talk Sunday. And the topic for today is legacy and what does it mean to you? So we get into all the dynamics of family. And what does it mean to you? Legacy. What does it mean? How does it entail about how you feel about your family roots? And what does it mean to you? Come join me today for this daunting topic that we all get to see, we all get to feel, we all have this feeling about our family. And what does that legacy mean to you from slavery time until present time? I pray that you enjoy the show, and we will talk soon. Hello, everybody, and how are y'all doing today? Hello. How are y'all doing today? My name is Sharise Johnson Moore, and I am here for Let's Talk Sunday, and my topic for today is legacy and what does it mean to you? Legacy and what does it mean to you? Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I thank you for coming in. I've had this topic on my mind for a minute because I've been helping a friend do their Ancestry.com profile, and it has been very very kind of not like tedious or anything of that nature, but it has been very informative. It's very delicate to your research and things of that nature. So it got me to thinking about my legacy as well, and what does it mean to you? So my thing is, what does it mean to you about your legacy? You know, we have so many things that's going on with our legacy that hello, how are you doing? My name is Sharise Johnson Moore, and welcome to today's Let's Talk Sunday topic. Sunday's topic is about legacy and what does it mean to you? And I wanted to, come in and get your thoughts on it. Hello. Okay, I got to. Assalamu Mamoon. How you doing? Itala. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. How are you doing today? I wanted to, legacy. Legacy is what you leave behind with others. Legacy is how do you, like your family life, or what did you do in your life, and what did you accomplish during your time here on this earth, that your children can say that my grandmother left a legacy. A legacy is something that they leave behind in their time of their lifespan here. And sometimes it can be, we're trying to figure it out, like where did they come from, or what did they do in their life? What did they accomplish? How did they have to live? How did they have to foresee what they had to leave behind? My grandma used to tell me all the time of, well, I want to leave. I'm teaching you these things now so you can carry on for your children and for your grandchildren and for your great-grandchildren. And what do you leave behind in your legacy? And what does it mean to you? I didn't fathom that until until my grandmother passed in 2011. And I didn't realize that she was leaving me a legacy of what she did in her life, how she lived. She told me bits and pieces, but we really never got to talk never got to talking to that. But from what she did tell me, were that we are descendants of slaves, and we're descendant of white people as well. So, you know, and it always it would always make me think of what she was leaving behind, you know, because I, as a child growing up, I got to meet my great grandmother on my father's side. She lived for quite some time until the age of 104, and during her lifespan, she got to tell me about some of the stories and you know, some of the things that her mother did together. My grandmother and her mother, and my great grandmother lived with us for quite some time, and it like just like one time we had I would say her birthday, 100-year birthday party, but we had my great grandmother's 100th birthday party, and I've never seen so many people at a birthday party before in my life, right? Growing up, I was about 7, 8, something like that. And by her being this person, it dawned on me that all these people out here in this yard, in her yard, we had this big party for her 100th birthday, my great grandmother, and we had invited everybody that was related. We could call the birthday party family reunions, you know, / family reunion, because everybody came. And I never realized I came from a big family. I never realized how big the family was until we had that celebration for her. And it was like people everywhere. And it kind of like dawned on me. I sat back and now I look at the pictures and I look at the photos and I look at all the things that engulfed her life, of all the people that she touched, you know, and even the president sent her a letter. I think it was Ronald Reagan at the time. Ronald Reagan, and the thing was, we sat there and it was like, you know, it was like, wow, she's lived 100 years and I can't believe I'm a part of this. And now that I look back over it, is that we come from a strong people. We come from a strong people. We come from a strong people. And I've always, you know, and then that was another thing that I realized from my grandmother, being raised by my grandmother, which lived to be 97. And I was like, wow, you know, she's been around a while, you know. We lost my great grandmother when she was 104. And then my grandmother lived to be 97. And it like really, like, where do I come from? And it made me think of all the stories where my grandmother would tell me that we descended from slaves. And she told me about where she grew up at. She grew up on a farm, and a white man owned the farm, and and she even told me about her grandmother being a slave, used to be a slave. And, you know, you think about that time where it's like 1880. 1880 is the year my great-grandmother was born. And then you think about all that history that comes down from that generation, where my grandmother says she remembers her grandmother, which is my great-great-grandmother. And she said all of them lived together and all of them did everything together as a family. And, you know, she raised me to be, you know, well, my grandmother told me about her life and how she raised up on the farm and how she decided when she was younger that she was going to be this person that was like, okay, I don't want to do this farming the rest of my life. I don't want to farm. I don't want to live on somebody else's land. I want to go get my own land and produce my own money, have my own income. And she told me how she was the first how she was one of the family members that decided to really like go out and leave the country life and go to the city. And she said life was so different for her, for her when she went to New York City. She really didn't start in New York. She went to Norfolk, and how their family decided to go, and some of the family members from other branches of the family, they were slowly migrating to the north, and how it culminated, and we have so much family. And then I remember when as growing up, we had other family reunions from other branches of the family, and I didn't know that we had family in Texas, we had family in Tennessee, we had family in Florida or South Carolina, and different places like that. When they came to a family, other branches of the family, from her side, from my grandmother's side, and then from my, it's like a melting pot. And I got to meet a lot of family. And what does legacy, and what does it, legacy, I didn't realize what legacy meant until my grandma passed. I didn't realize what legacy meant until my grandmother really passed. And that kind of got me where I look back over her life, and I look back over the life she presented to me, and the life she helped me with. And I realized something. I was taking my legacy for granted until she died. I took my legacy that she left me for granted. Oh, I'm going to have this, so she's going to leave me a house, and we're going to have this, and we're going to have that, and this, that, and the other, until she died, and things quite changed. Things quite changed with the legacy. And I mean, her immediate family, after she passed, and then I had to deal with the death of my father 3 years later, 2014. And then that kind of like left us like in limbo. And then I look at his life and what legacy he left. And, sometimes we have this legacy, and the legacy is that we must not take our legacies for granted, and I'm looking at the example that I'm leaving for my kids, and I wanted to change that, because before my grandmother passed, I was living a life that was not conducive to a legacy, that was not conducive to leaving any memories, any good memories, and any good, a taste in your mouth that anybody could be proud of. I sang when I grew up, and things like that, and I did a lot of things in my life, but I kind of poisoned the branch when I decided to get involved in a life that was not what they wanted, not, where I'm going to go to college and be, get an education and things like that. And I threw a lot of that in my life away. And now that I look at this legacy, I look at it and I think of it as, it's time to get back to what she taught me. It's time to get back to what she left me, what she taught me, how she taught me. And legacy means I want to leave something for my children to be happy about that I might have done in my life, living here on this earth and presenting myself in a good light. All families ain't perfect. Okay, families ain't perfect. That's, sometimes families can get kind of twisted and kind of, messed up. But sometimes we have to kill those generational curses. Kill those generational curses from your life as far as life may be concerned. So, sometimes it's good to reevaluate your life and reevaluate where you come from. Reevaluate how you see yourself. What does it mean to you? What does it mean in your heart? Where I've actually taken that life and I have reevaluated it to the point where I want something different. I want to be a good example in my life, not where I'm leaving my kids a bunch of debt not leaving them with, oh, she don't got no life insurance. I don't want to leave my family into that rut. Where I've seen family members where they don't have life insurance on themselves, and they don't have stability after the main patriarch passes away. So that's giving me some things to reevaluate too. And I want to leave my kids a good taste in their mouth. I want them to have something good to say about me when I die. I want them to have a good rapport with me before I leave Earth. I don't want to leave my kids stressed out, bombarded with a whole bunch of stuff that I should have taken care of when I was here. So, what does your legacy mean to you? And what does it mean to you? Sometimes we have to reevaluate ourselves to get an understanding of that. And now is the most definite time for us to sit and understand about legacy, because we see so much stuff going on now these days in the world, where there are people that's speaking up for themselves over 400 or 500 years or many years of oppression, by being, families that have come through slavery, that have come through immigration, they're speaking up and saying, I thought America was supposed to be where you could come in and you can come in and become somebody and be free. And sometimes it's not true. Sometimes that thing will hit you like a ton of bricks when you realize that you're walking around free, but somebody that hates you for your skin color, that hates you for your lifestyle, that hates you for just being who you are, where like 19, and I think about all this other stuff too. I was watching Finding Your Roots. That's what really got me on this topic, Finding Your Roots. And I'm looking at this episode, and they have so many immigrants, and they have, black people and white people and Asians, and they have African Americans, and they have Irish, they have Jewish, they have, they have different nationalities come on the show and find out their history. So this what got me on this topic. So the thing was that I wanted to go back and see my history. You think about these things, and everybody's coming into this melting pot, this place called America. And you think about some people go back. Well, I think about my grandmother. She's born in 1920. She's born in 1915. My grandma born in 1915. Now I think about all that history. Legacy goes along with history. And she's born in 1915, and you think about she lived through World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, the Holocaust. She's lived through segregation. She's lived through voting right registration. She's lived through Martin Luther King's era. And I think about all that. Her and my great-grandma, matter of fact, her and my great-grandmother lived through all that. They lived through all these pieces of history. They lived through all this history. And it's like, wow, my family has survived a lot. My family has come from slavery, and the thing is that if we don't research our past, we don't know what our future. We don't really look at our future like that. We don't research our history, our past, or where our relatives come from. We don't know where we don't have a guide. We don't look back. Is look back over your life and see where you come from. Then you'll understand that what is more important to you is what you leave behind before you leave this place. And I think about that all the time, about my grandmother, my great-grandmother. They lived through World War I. They lived through slavery. They lived through slavery. They've lived through World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, Korean War. I've even done the research on my great grandmother, where she has lived through slavery. She lived through slavery. And I found out what her name was. Her name was Sarah. And it dawned on me, I come from all this, and this is the legacy I have. This is the legacy that I am living with. I am a product of what has come down, what has been here, what has lived through all this generational stuff. And our family might have gotten off track on my father's side or my mother's side, but I can really hit the generational curse with thunder, and I can really make things change. I could change our generational curse. And the thing is that it's so important that you sit down with your children and teach them the history of your family, and go on their Ancestry.com, go on those websites where you can look up your history and bring that history to the front page, and bring it to what you know it to be, as I come from this stock. I come from these group of people that never gave up, that never bowed down, that never turned their backs. They always kept moving forward no matter what they were going through. And I think about, she lived through civil rights. My grandma went through to the Million Man March. They had to ride on the back of a bus, and and the thing is, you got the whites only bathroom and the coloreds, and even my great grandmother lived through desegregation. And I think about all those things that they lived through, and what that legacy really means to me. What does it mean to you? What does it mean that you have people that have lived through this stuff and have come out on top? And life can't get no better than that. It's like, now I'm doing research with another friend of mine, and with my husband, and we're doing his family tree, and he has 15 sisters and brothers. 15 of them, and they got their mother, and they have all these different segments and different people, and he's even gone back to find his great grandfather, and I found my great grandmother, great grandmother on my side, and it's so invigorating to see that these people, to see that this is what they come from, this is what is going on, this is my family tree. So what does, you got legacy, and what does it mean to you? That is what you should ask yourself today. And I look at all these people that's protesting, and you think about all the things, and it's like a recurring thing. It's like, look, it's like they're killing us. They're killing us one by one, and now we just got to the point where we're tired, and this is really like repeating history. It's repeating itself. It's like repeating itself. It's that Tulsa, Oklahoma, where 1921, and they just kill off a whole town, a whole town. And then you think about other towns that might have dealt with that, Rosewood, and you think of those things that go along with your legacy, and you do your background and your ancestry check. You never know, you might find a relative that has been experienced, they might have moved out there, and you don't know nothing about them, but they experienced these things that are happening to them. And some people might have survived, some people might have passed on from these things. But legacy, what does it mean to you? Go check out your legacy. Check out what your family tree is about. Check out what has brought you. You see you. Sometimes we just think about us all the time, but think about all those other relatives that have come before you, that have dealt with all these things, Civil War, Reconstruction, and then they give us that, and then they take it away, and it's give me this and take this away, and give me that and take that away, and then you will understand the purpose of, what do I stand for? Do I fall for anything, or do I stand up for some things? Do I stand up for something? Do I stand for something, or do I fall for anything that people will tell me? That's another part of legacy I'm going to talk about later. So, legacy, and what does it mean to you? I just want to make this point, that go do your homework. Go do your homework, whether you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, Caucasian, Filipino, Taiwanese, Korean, Chinese, Japanese. Do your family tree. Do your family research. And find out the heroes in your family. You never know who you got in your family. You don't know who you might have on that family tree that has stood up for something and they died for their cause, that has put and sacrificed their life so you could be here. That's my message for today. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Sunday. So I love y'all, and I will see you later. Bye, babies. Hello, hey everybody. I hope you enjoyed Let's Talk Sunday, and I pray that you have a blessed day, blessed evening, whatever time zone you're in and you're listening. Have a nice time. And, just think about your legacy. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next Sunday for Let's Talk Sunday. And I pray to see you then or hear from you. Drop me a message in my inbox or on this podcast or in my DM. So, I love y'all, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye, babies. Y'all have a nice day now. Bye.